There's my little princess. Good morning. Oh, it's a morning. We have an ozone, a code orange day today, and my nose is all stuffy. I took some allergy medicine. It's like the worst it's been. Everybody's here, including Stripey. Good morning, bud. He and Morris were in the tall chair near the table last night's where they slept. I checked on them right before bed and they were still there right when I checked on them first thing this morning. Hey buddy, Stripe. Okay, you check out the yard. You doing good, Morris? Good boy. Where are you going? Mr. Man is coming to say good morning. Hi, I'm not chasing you. I'll let you go use the bathroom. So Tesla updated the app last night, like at 6:05 p.m. and said Ruby was ready. I got to tell you, that's just about the worst time of the day to tell us to come get the car after I've already been downtown twice and I've started dinner. So I said, let's just pick her up this morning. And Don said, sure. It's not too far from the school to Tesla and we have time and less wear and tear. Driving down there in the evening, an extra trip, etc., etc. But I forgot to plug Jules in last night. So Dawn says she's got 100 miles. We can make it downtown and back one time today, so that's good. But yeah, I messed up and didn't charge Jules. Not good when you're down to one electric car at the house. Dawn did plug in for 15 or 20 minutes until we were actually ready to leave this morning. Thank you, my automatic door opener, you. Yeah, we left the house with 105 miles. That's plenty for downtown over to Tesla and back home. Just wouldn't have been necessarily good if I had to go downtown with Jules a second time today. What were you gonna say?
Well, I engaged full self-driving, the car came across and she slowed down. I would have even lifted if I was a human driver. And then as the process of lifting and she's slowing down, the light turned yellow. And I was wondering, is she going to stop? And she didn't.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know, it wasn't that close. I mean, I think if it was 100% safe, you know, it was nice because as a driver, I didn't really, it wasn't scary enough that I needed to take over. I don't know what I would have done if I was the guy in control slowing down for the car. I might have stopped. But then after having gone through all of that, I went through the yellow light safely, and of course the car beside me comes back. They were like a couple car lengths back, so I guess I was way safe.
The answer at this time of the morning is go.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what else I was going to say. I've set Dawn up for success. I killed navigation to the school because we know we're on time, and the route, I checked the route because I'm a passenger and I can spend more time scrutinizing it, and I set on minimum lane change for him. So he ought to be set for success, as good as it's going to get on this release. Since Dawn's driving, I'll show you guys the construction zone area. Most of the work up close to the road is happening on the other side, which of course I can't effectively show you right now. On the other side, there's soundproofing that goes for a long stretch that you can see almost up to the other bridge over there on Lake Wheeler, and there's a lot of earth moving still up near this road, for US Highway 401 Fayetteville Road, because they need to go under that overpass, and the earth was up, you know, 2 stories, 3 stories worth of dirt for a large area. So they're still moving that out of the way. So she does have a history of the minute you engage autopilot, she tries to change your lane. Yeah. I don't know why that is. And like just now, we had to disengage and re-engage a few times, and I don't know, Dawn engaged and immediately the turn signal and immediately to move us into the left lane to follow our route, but we're going right up here. So like I said, the car navigates great as long as you don't have to navigate where you're going. And if you have to navigate where you're going, the constant fussing with the lane that you're in and the route is just a little bit, it's just a little much. So.
Yeah, I would say she's been pretty good. I mean, I would say relatively, I mean, she's not done anything stupid other than that trying to, you were in the far right lane and she wanted to get over all the way into make a left turn. You know, when we engaged her back at that traffic light, I mean, it's like, well, you don't even want to go that way, and that certainly wouldn't have been, there was like no reason whatsoever.
I helped Dawn send feedback on one of the disengagements.
Yeah, we did that.
Although it is the one that I've done a couple times this week now, where she tries to dive into the right lane, the turn lane, to go onto Mechanical Boulevard past the Lowe's up there when we're going straight. And apparently she does it whether you're navigating or not. She likes that turn lane. There's an arrow pretty close to the beginning of the turn lane, the right, so I don't know why she doesn't understand it's not a through lane, but she doesn't.
Well, the other thing is why she would be so assertive is like the second that lane appears, she wants to get into that lane.
Right. Well, if I was turning right, I would like her to follow the right lane, and I'd be assertive about moving over and not let a car get over around me and then me have to try to get over. But since we're not going that way, I'd prefer she ignore it altogether. She's upset about the light being covered and the intersection basically being closed right there. She's just being cautious about it because she couldn't determine the traffic light condition. There's Raleigh. Yeah, Dawn said something about, oh, well, you won't be doing this in a few more weeks, and I almost burst out into tears this morning. I'm gonna miss my time in the car with Johnny. If 5:30 a.m. I might not miss, but the time in the car with Johnny I'm gonna miss. I'm gonna miss my sunrise and my cityscape view and decorations at various times of the year and watching the buildings and the cranes go up downtown. I mean, you know, well, nothing saying I can't drive downtown on occasion just because, or go to the Arboretum more often, or, you know. Oh my God, they paved over here. When did they do that? I mean, it wasn't like this yesterday. Wow. Who knew? Oh, I do want to see how this goes. Better you than me, Dottie. You take one for the team.
Yeah.
Were you navigated when we came through the light?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, in autopilot.
Yeah, I was navigating prior to then. I just did a signal to get her over into the, not the far right lane.
Sure.
Because I knew it was going to back up at that light. Everybody wanted to make that right turn.
All right, so I'm going to record the street here. We'll see how she does.
She's still driving.
I love being next to the bus. It always makes my morning.
Oh, of course. So she wants.
So now she's going over.
Well, she's not next to this. Is her. I did not
wow,
do that.
she didn't hesitate there on that move over.
I did not do that. And we're on average now, not assertive lane changing.
Right.
I put it back on average. I thought assertive was fine. It's just I wanted to see what the difference in the feel while we were in that kind of...
See, me, I have no problem being stopped here behind the bus, but Dawn's probably like fidgeting, ready to move out from behind it. Right, well, that's good. This bus at this spot has stopped pulling over to the curve, and I don't really understand why. I thought the bus was always should be at the curve, but I yelled at it one morning. It's like, you're dropping people on and off, that's great, but
I don't know. I think she sees the red light right there. It looks like she sees
I agree that somehow she thinks she sees the red light. I don't know how that is based on where you are and where the light is.
I mean, that was, she had to have seen it. Well, she just saw it turn green.
And she just did, marked it green.
So she must see it.
I don't know how she's seeing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the bus is basically blocking the view.
Maybe one of the side view cameras is catching it.
Yeah, how could that be though? But like okay.
Yeah.
I don't see any other answer than it had to be a side camera.
Yeah, because I think the bus was covering up the front camera.
Is she gonna stop for people? Wow, yes, she's stopping for people. Okay, well, she did a good job stopping, but they hesitated long enough. I guess she thought they weren't going.
If they would have went, I think she would have stopped, because she was trying to stop for them.
Yeah, twice she braked at least to stop. Yeah. She certainly saw them and was watching for them, and I suspect she would have restopped, but Dawn did the right thing in hitting the brake at that point. But I suspect she would have stopped again.
Well, they were doing the same thing she was doing, and actually they had the right of way. That's why I said when they saw she was moving at like 0.5 miles per hour, if they would have just went, she would have completely stopped.
Yeah.
And quit her little dance. But they'd move and then they'd stop, and she said, "Oh well, they're not going to go." I don't know what she was thinking. I'm just thinking that they should have been a little bit more assertive. I mean, I wouldn't have walked out in front of the bus, but
I think we all could use a good dose of, when you're crossing the street, cross the street. So what Kia is that? That's the Nero, Donnie. That's the electric Nero. See the blue? Well, you can't see it now because you're driving, but it has some blue accents in the front and the back. There's a red Nero that's been parked downtown the last few days too. There's quite a few popped up in the last couple of weeks. It came out, they got them in locally, and yeah, Don and I were talking last night that, you know, it's kind of, I'm gonna say it's kind of like California, but it's up in the Bay Area, but it's kind of, you can't judge what's going on in Raleigh as a pulse of the rest of the country. There are going to be more EVs here. Not, you know, as many as California, but a lot, relatively speaking, to other places. Like, you know, we could, driving in downtown Raleigh and in our area, the Cary, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, even Fayetteville to some extent, this side of the state, a lot of EVs here, a lot of technology jobs. I think a lot of technology people are willing to drive it, or embracing, or willing, or thinking about driving electric. But if we go down to other places, if we drive 80 miles away out in the middle of nowhere, we're not going to see, obviously, this level of penetration of EVs or charging infrastructure or anything else. I had to laugh. There was a Facebook post this past week, and I'm always sticking, and there was one out there I just couldn't keep my mouth shut. There was so much misinformation and hate in it that I just put myself out there and mostly stopped it, I think. And this one example of, oh, that actually worked this time. But one of the things they said is, you know, I'm just still afraid I can't find I can't find a place to charge my car, and I just want to scream. I want to scream because, number one, you charge at home most of the time, assuming you can have a charger at home. And in most cases, it's not too expensive to install it. And then the other thing is there's now 56 superchargers in North Carolina. You can't go 75 miles and not hit a charger. So don't, you know, tell me that there's no charging, at least if you're driving a Tesla, and hopefully soon to be sharing with other brands in North Carolina. Yeah, Elon mentioned that on the earnings call last night. Well, what do you want us to do? We're opening up the charging network. We're helping out our fellow EV maker. What do you want us to do?
Yep. He said that.
He did say that last night. I think that stood out with me, you know, more than anything else. Are you trying to kill the other automotive industry by dropping your prices again because you can and they can't? Well, no, of course not. We're just evaluating what's best for us. There's a Model S. But anyway, back to my prior point.
She was cutting really tight on a left turn from a one-way street onto a two-way street. She was cutting the corner.
Yeah. Don had to pull her out there on that left turn. I've never tried that left turn on FSD, so Don's braver than I am. Well, plus you have a helper in the car too, though, when she's not running her mouth. All I was trying to say, back to just finish up my point, was there's a lot of EVs here, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're everywhere in our state or in the country. We're going to see penetration is high in Raleigh and the surrounding technology region. Got lucky in that spot there, Donnie, that the car that's almost always on the street, making it too narrow for the traffic to flow properly here, was not there this morning. And I'm wondering what she's going to do here. Is she going to take the little side cut and follow this car? Is she going to go down to the light, or is she not going to know what to do? And
She made the cut.
how's she going to handle this car being illegally parked and yielding? Well, there's not normally anybody there, but if you want to ask me if I think she properly looked, if there was somebody there or not to the left, I wouldn't want to swear on it.
I think she thought she had the right of way.
I wouldn't want to swear she looked there. It worked out okay, but will she handle the roundabout for Dawn? And I realized the sun's bad this morning, so it's hard for us to see. We have our visors down, and it's certainly hard for Jules to see. But they've put in these really half little... She slowed for that.
She did okay.
Well, that one has some special paint on it.
Well,
So but this one has cones. So she's been handling...
I'm looking.
She's been handling the one with the cones okay. And I'd also have to say it's wider there. So she didn't have to do much. Now, this is not a normal intersection. It says stop here on red. Oh my God, she stopped. See, stop here on red. She did that. Wow. Model 3 turned into the right. They came out of the school in front of us. We did see briefly an EV6 and a Model Y on 401 coming out of Fuquay with us.
Well, it's funny. She doesn't show the red light. Obviously, she stopped for it, but she's not showing.
You're right. She's not marked that. I agree. Well, this is a very non-normal intersection. I don't know why they're not going. She's supposed to turn here.
Yep, we're kidding.
Yep. Okay, fail. Very unique intersection, just totally didn't handle it correctly. You have to stop way far back for that red light due to a special crossing.
Yeah, well, and she was out in the middle of the road. I don't know what she was going to do with that truck, but he was letting us go, so I wasn't going to sit there.
Right, I think
Mexican standoff with him.
My interpretation was she saw that he said we could go and she was going to turn in front of him, even though I wasn't expecting her to turn in front of him. That was my interpretation. But so you're turning left on Crabtree up here in a mile. Well, Jules is turning left on Crabtree up here in a mile. This takes us over to Capitol Boulevard, where we get to jog up briefly to get on Glenwood. This is my preferred go slightly east to go west route, leaving the school to get to Tesla or Crabtree Valley Mall. I just prefer this route, so I had Dawn turn out of the school the way I wanted to go, and then she picked up the route. It's really only a half a mile distance, maybe. Time-wise is pretty much the same, and this route, in my opinion, is much kinder. I don't want to go down past St. Mary Street and those horrible manhole covers cutting over to Crabtree that way. I don't know why she would put you in the right-hand lane. I said faster lane, but then in 0.6 miles we're turning, so she's gonna have to get you back over again.
Yeah, well, I have it on the average. She's not in the assertive right now.
Right, well, she needs to get you back over.
And she'd rather get trapped by this truck coming up slow. They're all nice and cozy with that white line. She's doing terrible.
Upcoming lane change, 0.2 miles. Now let's get us over.
Yeah, but I think she did very poorly on that. She was basically rolling over the top of the dotted line.
Not keeping her lane well there.
She wasn't keeping her lane well, and there was no reason. It wasn't that tight of a curve.
This is where you're supposed to turn. I'm just letting you know I'm agreeing that she was a little... The car behind us would have had a meltdown about how slow she was getting into that lane. Just mentioning.
Yeah.
And these are ballards, these metal pieces here for the bike lane or whatever. Seemed to handle that okay.
Right, I was wondering what she was going to do.
She is marking them as some sort of obstruction there on the side of the road. Well, I didn't know today's video, Donnie, was going to be called Dawn Drives FSD in Raleigh. or something along those lines.
Yeah.
God, I have to try to pick out a title in the middle of the day because I don't do well with it at 1 a.m. in the morning when I'm trying to finish the video. I'm like, I could just go to bed if I could title it. The number of times I have said that, she should be turning right here, 300 feet. She agrees she's turning right.
Well, this is the first time I've ever done this direction.
That's not where she was supposed to go.
Well, let's see what she does.
She's totally confused now.
Stopped for traffic control.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to fix it now. She came into. I don't know if this comes out up here somewhere or not. I don't.
That guy.
Right. Were you really? Okay. Yeah, I would just get us back on Capitol. But yeah, she saw the stop sign. So that's good that she stopped. We basically need to go there.
I know that, sweetheart.
All right. So you're just going to let her get herself more lost.
Well, we've been saying that.
Take over, you human. I can't handle it. She did put up the red steering wheel, but not because Dawn wasn't doing anything, because she realized she was sunk and needed help. This would be the case of, you know, the Waymo people having to dispatch a human to come fix the car, or a remote driver having to take over or something.
Yeah, she made, and I let her make the mistake. I did not try to,
Yeah, I see no reason why we can't come back out here once it's clear.
Totally legal. It's just, I would have made, if I was a human being and made that mistake, I would have made that little bail out there. But again, I was trying to see what she was going to do.
That turn was 0.5 miles away, but you heard the turn signal come on there, and that was a case of you put on FSD, and as soon as you do that, she puts on the turn signal to do something. So you're getting on 440. But not up until like up there where those trees are. She's gonna get you off at what I can call the Crabtree Valley Mall exit. This was just a quick jog to get you over to Glenwood in a relatively easy route. But I guess FSD didn't like it too much.
Get us on 440.
Yeah. If she does what she's supposed to do, she is.
There's nobody behind you.
Nobody behind us. I agree.
Because she didn't use any turn signal.
Well, I think she thinks when she's already in the lane that has that. I would have had my turn signal on if I was, you know, alert. Oh, the trucks. I don't even like doing this. No.
Yeah, she wasn't gonna.
Right. You handled that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have handled it. I'm sure.
She didn't handle the merge correctly. She swung too wide.
And there was a tractor trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got 3.8 miles, so you don't need to stay in the right lane. You got plenty of time to get back over. Dawn's still driving.
Yes, I'm driving right now.
Well, now you're just going to be in stop and go traffic. But I meant she probably can handle this part. Getting back over to exit, who knows?
Well, I think just once all these people merging, that's like, what is it, Capitol or whatever, that's a busy road.
Yeah.
A lot of people merging on here.
I have not typically had too much trouble out on this stretch of road in the morning. It's busy, but it's not, you know, too slow typically. Yeah, she handled getting over into this lane, no problem, and it wasn't wide open. No, you know, she had to think about it.
Yeah, she did that perfect. I couldn't have done it any better than what she just did.
So back there where we got off on basically the wrong road, what my assessment is that she has trouble understanding when there's a turn off right before the turn for the intersection.
Yeah.
differentiating because you know it's only 20 feet. Am I at the intersection or am I at the road prior to the intersection? I would just classify that that's what happened back there. And I think I remember seeing another example of that.
Yeah, same example.
Not that intersection, but another one.
Yeah, that's the second time I've seen her do that.
So we've got now this guy's trying to get over.
Yeah,
unfortunately, that was an example where Dawn would have let that guy go, but Jules didn't. But Jules didn't because, well, she's just worried about what she's doing.
Right.
Road is really bumpy here. She went over just a little, jogged just a smidge more to the right than she needed to, but it was okay. And we could question if that was to try to avoid worse bump in the road because it was pretty bad there. They are getting ready to resurface this. It's going to be a nightmare for local Raleigh traffic while they try to fix their mess up. I read about it, something about the surface sealer that they put on to try to help the road. It's not the asphalt underneath, it's that sealer, and they're going to have to totally redo it. And like I said, it's just going to be a disaster. People are complaining about the bumpy road, which I totally get. You just wait until they're complaining about the paving and the lane closures. There's no good answer there. Do it at night. Pay more and do it at night. Although I sort of fail to see sometimes why it costs more to do it at night in the summertime. Who wants to stand out there in 90-degree North Carolina full sunshine with asphalt?
Wow, she did that pretty good. I was wondering what she was going to do, but she handled that like
she did handle that okay. Phew! I think sometimes when we go through those intersections, we stop breathing for a minute. Do you stop breathing for sometimes, Donnie? I do.
Yeah, I was like holding my breath a little bit. Well, the thing is that the sun was hitting the traffic signal, and it had those little louvers on it so that because it's such an acute angle there, that the other people could think they were looking at the green light when it was really, you know, whose green light is it, which traffic direction. So it has those little louvers on there, and they were kind of obscuring the light. So I was a little wondering what she was going to do, but she just followed that truck right through the intersection.
Yeah.
And the dotted road line was well marked. I have to say that helped her a little. I'm sure that couldn't hurt.
Yeah. So Crabtree Mall's here on the left for those of you non-Raleigh local people, and Tesla's like 2 or 3 miles past Crabtree.
Yeah.
On Glenwood. We'll have to go through a U-turn to get to the correct side of the road to get into Tesla.
Go past and then come back to it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
She just did a good job staying in her lane instead of getting into the left turn lane and having to get back over. But I was going to say that, so she did great. She's where she needs to be. I would hope she would navigate this like slicing through butter, because there are so many Teslas back and forth on this road all the time going in and out of Tesla over here, that it ought to be a road with a lot of data. I would hope she would know what she was doing. So I was just saying that basically we didn't have any meaningful update from the tech in the app this time. I'm not really fussing, but I did ask them to put the brake pads in the back, so before we walk inside to get Don's key fob and talk about the labor cost, which we thought was a little high for the suspension fix parts. I want to see if the brake pads are actually in the back. And then I did ask them to tell me, take a picture, show me, explain, describe what the offending piece of metal was in the tire. And Don points out there might not have been a piece of metal. And I agree, there might not have been. And oh my God, the parking lot is totally full this morning. They have cars parked in non-spaces out near the street. That's how full it is. We've seen that many times before at this location. What you gonna do, girl? Come on, you gotta get over. Yeah, I love. She starts to move, and then this guy was right not even gonna pause for you to get into. She moves into these turn lanes too slow. Anyway, I want to see the brake pads. If they didn't save them, I'm not going to make a stink about that, but somebody's going to have to explain what condition if you ever in the history of a flat tire not want to know what caused your flat. I mean, so again, it's not worth getting upset about, but you know, I just think the technician at the end should have put in a few words at some point, and that's when Dawn said, well, they just hit the microphone button and dictate. You know, found a screw in the tire. It was pretty ugly. An inch from the outer wall of the tire, not repairable. You know, something probably should have been put in there. And then I was thinking, you know, if nothing else, tell the AI to assess. You know, they should have to take pictures of some of this stuff to protect themselves. She's not going. Dawn had to take over. Take some pictures to protect yourself, and then just tell the chat GPT to go out there and write the update to the customer.
She did not handle the U-turn at the turn signal, left turn arrow.
We're headed into Tesla. My God, Ruby's right here on the end. Everybody, including those big car haulers that comes in the parking lot, has been driving past her. It was just would not be my, it's not a spot I would leave Ruby in. Well, there was at least one car that's been hit by a car hauler in this parking lot. So to think that that could happen is not totally impossible. You can see the tread is great. It would be hard pressed to tell that those are new tires from the cleanliness though. Oh my God, Ruby's wheels, Donnie, look at the poor wheels. Oh, she opened for me. Well, that's good that she knows I'm here. They're Michelin tires. They are, after they told us they were putting Michelins on? Okay, there's no parts back here, because we asked them to put the brake pads in the car. And they're not back there. Yep. Wow, look at Ruby's poor floor mat. That is not, that's, you know, shop dirt off the shoes. Yeah, that's, okay. Well, other than she's dirty, I guess things are all in order. The tires are. I would be hard pressed to understand how you could get them that dirty. Black X service vehicle. That might be a white S, and then there's certainly this red S here. I've not seen the red S before. Love it. It's the new red. Now that it's gotten sunny, they've gotten a tent over the car. Cool. There's a solar roof tile.
Yeah, it feels just like those glass cutting boards. Have you ever felt the glass cutting boards?
That has like. Dimples instead of ridges, but that kind of thing.
This is more I mean, these are like ridges, but the ridges are there. They're not optical illusions. They're really there.
Okay, I'm in the pretty red X with the beige interior, wood grain, yoke, and it smells like a new car in a not good way. You know, really all that new car smell is nasty chemicals. It's getting a new car really is a little bit of a health hit, in my opinion. Ooh, she's got a software update ready to install. Here, let's schedule it for 4 a.m. I like it. So that's kind of different how the dash actually like almost touches the door over there versus it's more rounded on Ruby. I don't know what I think about how the driver instrument cluster screen looks. It's got bubble. You know what that is? That's just that's the protective cover, so that's not really bubbles. It would be hard to say what I think about the clarity of that instrument cluster versus Ruby's. I had heard some people prefer Ruby's. The screen is big. It's bigger than Jules' screen. I mean, and it is, and at the very bottom in the dash and not just sticking out like Jules's. So I like that. That makes me feel slightly better about the non-vertical screen that is actually inlaid.
Tilt right and left? Like the S has got some kind of a mechanism that allows the screen to move right and left? It's on.
I would say that there's no mechanism for tilting the screen whatsoever. Okay. It's just in there. But you're right. Well, we could go look at, well, that's if there's an S, I think there's an S1 over maybe the Y next to us, but, and here's the charging. Here's where the emergency is. Huh, and it's capacitive, it's not a real button. Well, whoa, did I do that or you did that? Okay.
I wanted to look at
right. Does that not go down? I guess it doesn't. So why?
It slides in.
Why is there a? Maybe it comes up the rest of the way. Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's different. I'm not used to seeing. Is this a plaid? Is that why I have chrome pedals?
Yes, this is a plaid.
Okay, because otherwise I'm not expecting that. Well, if it's a plaid, how come I don't got carbon fiber?
I don't know, Kim. They didn't take that option. The option's only on the carbon. You can only get carbon fiber.
Well, that used to be. I don't know if that's still the case.
Yeah. Well,
so one thing I want to point out is it is all Alcantara on the sides like Ruby. So that part looks very much the same. Not up here though. Ruby has Alcantara here as well. So not up there. And I'm just trying to see for the driver. The actual driver, I guess the air must come out here. And there's actually a ridge up here too. That must be where the air vent is. Whereas over here, it's just coming out straight on top. So the air's kind of got a, I don't know how I feel about that. Cause you know, Ruby just has a vent and a vent. Yeah. Well, I don't hate sitting in this seat. Is there still a glove box? Okay, there is. Still has door pockets, although I would say that glove box felt different. Still has door pockets, but they're short. There's less space in here than in Ruby's. Although I'd have to say that this well is made, it goes down more here, so you would be able to put the bottle in there. Okay, I don't like my bottles in the thing. So I've got one important question. The thing that drives me nuts about Jules is when we're in Jules, we do not, Johnny and I don't have enough cup holders. We just don't have enough cup holders. Oh, I see it. It's still back here. It's under the screen, but it's still here. Thank God. Jules needs this. I would pay money to put a cup holder on the back side. And there's the screen, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I would miss the center console would be gone even if I got a 6-seater. There'd be no console. And honest to God, we have cups here, here, and up front. I mean, we like use all 6 of them all the time. So losing the 2 back, this would be good because I can reach those as the driver. Well, on Ruby, it's like here. It's up 5 or 6 inches. And I can literally reach around, hit it, twist my arm, and put a cup in. I have to say this one might be a little more sturdy than Ruby's, actually. Something new that's actually sturdy. Oh, wow, the armrests don't come as far down on the door. They're kind of short back there. I don't like that piece of rubber mixed in with the Alcantara. It really stands out and it looks ugly. Maybe it could be cleaned and wiped smooth and people have just been touching it. But that really stands out, and that's something that's a little different. Though I only have 3 lights instead of 5.
How's it going? Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Over red, yeah. Ruby, yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Did you open up the back?
Yeah, you can go. The back is actually, I like the back.
It says X, but not Model X. Oh, okay, the X is down there. That might be the same, and it does still say Model X on the inside of the wing. Ruby's might stand out a smidge more, but it's still there at least. How do I feel about this door flap on? Well, why won't it open? Okay. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like Jules's flap. I like Ruby's better. I mean, it's okay. But that's even different than Jules?
It's different than Jules.
It's even different than Jules.
Yes.
Yeah. Ruby's is the bomb. Trying to change it up for compatibility, CCS, Europe stuff. Yeah, well, this isn't going to tell me. That's nice because, you know, Ruby doesn't have that, but that's also because, wow, Don, did you see this extra space like the Y?
Yeah.
That big compartment? I kind of like that extra space there.
They moved the 12 volt to the other side.
Yes, they did. The 12 volt is on the right instead of on the left. Yeah. And that's about the same size. I really, 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 really like the shelf here.
It's got a lot of leg room.
I really like the shelf here. When Don and I are getting our weight vests on and off at the park, I need a place for my phone, and I'm going to end up buying him the shelf for the side of Jules. But this being a real shelf and the little netting there, that's a super great addition. That's a super great touch. That they put carpet here. See, Ruby doesn't have carpet up here at the back of the glass. And she has all of these scratches from cargo shifting. Even though I tried to be careful, it's just impossible. And Jules has the carpet, and now this X has the carpet. Never should this not have carpet on it. It will get scratched, and it's just not worth it. What were you gonna say?
I like the leg. There's lots of leg room in the five seater. I mean, this is like gobs.
Right.
And the seat doesn't go back and forth. That is exactly where the seat rest goes back and
So
forth.
how do you get it to go down?
We'll have to try it on the other side. This side I think is actually broken. It's not working.
Okay. It's not electric though. You can't just tell it to flop itself down.
There's no buttons. In fact,
I mean, and Michelle in her town and country, she just pushes a button and the third row just gets out of the way.
And there's the same thing for on the Y. You have the little things that it actuates.
Let's try the other side. Yeah, I guess that shelf in the back is because this is a 5-seater and not 6, right? Because I've got 2 more seats back there. I'm telling it to go up the rest of the way. Just being careful. The car next to us, but I'm holding the button now, and it went up the rest of the way.
So I was able to.
Okay. But there is still obviously that headrest gap where things could slide out of the back and fall onto the floor.
And then the 5-seater, because there's no third row,
yep,
gets the a little bit more storage.
Well, I guess the only thing I want to say is I hate it less than I thought I would, and I'll just leave it there.
I like it well enough. I mean,
but Dawn says after $4,500 on Ruby to fix her, don't even think about it.
Yeah, that's right. You don't have to worry. There's no. The Tesla stock needs to double, triple, and then we'll get you a new one. But at this point, you know, unless the stock goes up, we're not buying a new one.
Right. Well, there's 2 things. We haven't heard they're going to stop making them, and have not heard that. Don't expect that. Right. And until they'll move FSD from one X to the other X, you know, that's just
or something
more than the current incentive is not enough of an incentive.
Or they'd have to give us a really serious.
Oh wow, there's a little boo-boo on the spoiler.
I didn't do that.
I know you didn't, but there's a boo-boo there. Doors sound exactly the same, right down to pulling in on the side. It sounds exactly the same.
Yeah. This is different. It doesn't. Ruby doesn't have this bump. It's just straight across. But everything else looks very similar. And you know, Ruby has the tow hitch too. I mean, I paid extra that, so that bump's not just because of the tow hitch. It looks like it has the same cover underneath.
Right. This is not bad.
I was going to say, I actually like it.
How do you know it's a plaid? It doesn't have the plaid badge. Yeah, well, I don't think it's a plaid.
Well, it had the pedals. And
that was the only thing that makes it look performance or whatever is the pedals. I guess, yeah, it's got the, what do you call this thing?
The Moroni sticker?
Moroni sticker.
Oh. 121,000 Model X.
All-wheel drive, full self-driving capability, ultra red, walnut decor.
Well, it says 84,000 plus 15,000.
20-inch Cyberstream wheels, yoke steering wheel, autopilot.
It's kind of funny. They say
5-seat interior.
84 plus 15,000 for the wheels. For all-wheel drive. That didn't make no sense. It's like you can do it. You know, they did the same thing with.
Yeah, those are wheels.
Yeah, same tires we just put on.
Ruby.
Yeah. So anyway, the bottom line 121,000, but.
So this is black, whereas on Ruby it's chrome like the T. But at least they still have the chrome T.
Yeah, this is not a plaid. I was incorrect. I guess
they just put the chrome pedals on the S and the X now regardless.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Let's go look at the S. What were we going to look in the S about the screen? We wanted to see how the difference in the dash was with the screen.
And it would be under screen or something. Display. Here it is.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, kitten.
That does open up.
Yeah, that's nice, but there's no.
Are you sure?
I don't feel it. Oh, wait a minute. No, I do not feel a fuzz.
Our charging requirements in the car are high.
Yeah.
And this doesn't move at all. You said this is just like totally fixed. Well, this is the emergency thing, so I can see that that's not going to move.
Oh, right. It's touch.
Yep,
it's like the steering wheel.
Yep, it's capacitive. Yep.
So this has a lift out thing. That's all there is. I think this moves somehow.
Maybe. It is nice when it has a tray that lifts out so you can clean it.
There we go.
Ah, so there's a, wow. Let's see. That's pretty. It's another 6 or 8 inches.
Yeah.
There's a good bit more.
Okay, so the little cup holder thing slides back also, and so this is much wider opening. And I did find the 12-volt outlet is in the bottom, and it has a little cover. You push it once to open, and then you push it again to close it. It's nice. It has 2 USB port.
C?
Yeah, C's down there. So it does have outlets.
Yep, I see it.
And so it definitely has.
It'll fit the Plus phones.
Yeah, I think it'll fit the Plus phones because there's no.
I wonder if people that use it find that their phone stays versus slinging around when they're having fun in their car. I have to wonder.
Well, you know, I say it handles the big ass phones, but
maybe not.
Maybe not. I mean, if your phone's much bigger than this one, I mean, I don't call.
And yours is not big.
Right, but it's probably lengthwise.
This is Alcantara, so I think there's a little friction there with maybe keeping the phone in place. Don was saying this space over here seems wasted because, you know, in Jules we can lift it up and get underneath there. And there's no converting this to plug in your phone versus capacitive. Yeah, you know, in the current 3 and the Y, you really got a choice if you can find the right insert. Yeah, right. It did.
Charging wirelessly.
Oh wow, way cool.
Well, you know, I guess I should go put the wireless charger back in Jules since I put the one in
with prior phone and prior case, and it wasn't working out. And also
thinking you would use it, but
right. Well, the thing of it is, though, is it does in Jules help keep your phone from flying around the floorboard.
Yeah. So I will.
So it has an alternate purpose in Jules for keeping the phone stable. Well, the only other thing on the car I'm seeing doesn't look quite right to me is this corner right here. The finish, but everything else I haven't seen anything on the car that drew my attention to it. I mean, I could live with that, but I'm surprised that's not more smooth.
So the doors are unlock buttons are capacitive and have a nice little symbol, and if you touch them,
huh? Here's what it looks like. Cool. So if I trying to get the camera in my hand right and be prepared to move.
Yeah, I like the flicker a little bit more.
Well, I never use that anyway, but
I use it all the time.
No, never touch that metal piece ever.
Every time I get out of the car in the morning,
never.
I flick it to open it.
Screen. No, I don't even need a door handle. I just use a screen. I need an emergency handle, and I need the screen. That metal piece on Ruby doesn't get used.
I use it.
Nope. That made it seem like it's a real door. What was that in the ground? Oh, I guess it was a plant. It was that tree. I hit it. I thought it was like a metal stake or something. All right, well, we've had our, oh, you know, the only thing we didn't do is open the frunk. We need to see the camera, the sun on it. It looks red. Can you see that? Rubies do not look red. Don says he thinks it's version 4. I'm sure it's hardware 4. Make thing interesting, the door screen is different. Oh, it's labeled frunk. I love it. We're in so much trouble, Donnie. Ruby does not have a Model X frame. It's similar in size. It's just a little different. Ruby's is like flat on the bottom, and this one has more of a well.
Yeah.
I guess, you know, with Ruby, honestly, most anything I want to fit in the front, it's 2 inches too high. So I understand why they put this little well down in here, because that would get you that extra 2 inches. Although if I was really trying to put a box flat, I might not be happy about it. I'm going to say I think that's a good thing, even though it ruined the flat surface of the bottom of the frunk. And it's about the same size, but it looks a little different. The carpeting or something is different in it that we, anyway. And this is the tow hitch stuff.
Yeah, it's just it's greasy, so they put it in plastic.
Yeah. All right. That's a wrap for now.
Yeah, I overall like it. I think I like the landscape screen. I know that's
bite your tongue. I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would, because it's built in a little more than I thought, and the swivel makes it doable. So Ruby is amazingly quiet in comparison to how she's been. I guess when it gets a little louder due to this noise or that noise over time, you sort of, you know, but you don't really know until you get in, and it's like, I've put my foot on the brake and there's no grinding, there's no scraping, there's no squealing, there's no nothing. It's just quiet. And I'm sure that's a combination of several things. The tires, the alignment, the suspension fix. I'm sure it's a combination. The brake job, God, for sure. I had to run an extra errand. Don watched the launch. He pulled over on the side of the road. He's got a video for me. I did not get to watch it, but I will absolutely be watching it on replay. I hear it was exciting. I've had some coffee. I have put on the appropriate jewelry. And to meet Michelle, I've got my Star Wars locket, origami owl locket on today, and with my Porg shirt. So I'm in fashion to be with Michelle. All I need is a Loungefly Star Wars purse, because I've still got Wally and Eva, but that's kind of going to be my summer bag. Save the kitty for fall and winter. Anyway, I'm on my way to meet Michelle. I'm a few minutes late, no big deal. We're always flexible with each other, and I'm looking forward to shopping, and not headed back downtown this afternoon. Johnny is going home with a friend, and they are headed to Adventure Landing tonight. It's a school fundraiser. He was really looking forward to that. This is the place with the gas golf carts, go-karts, but not the electric ones. Galaxy Fun Park has electric, and Adventure Landing has gas. Don and I have been there on an IBM employee outing one time, and those gas go-karts are pretty fun. I think the electric ones at Galaxy Fun Park would be really fun too, except for it's indoors on a closed course. It's not quite as wide open a track. It's maybe designed for a slightly younger set of riders than the ones at Adventure Landing. But at any point, I know Johnny was really looking forward to Adventure Landing tonight, and tomorrow night's prom, and we're off tomorrow. And as far as I know, Johnny doesn't even need to go downtown for gym for the weightlifting class in the afternoon, so I think we're off tomorrow. So Don and I will be heading out probably around 9 o'clock tonight to go downtown to get Johnny, and but then we don't have to get up tomorrow morning early. And then we just, tomorrow afternoon, WRL Azalea Gardens at 4:30. So it's a big weekend. Did you get a new ride? A Nissan Rogue. Well, that was unexpected.
I know, he just came home with it. He was like, if I take care of this, then maybe we could, you know, a year or two, maybe, because he didn't like the way the van was treated.
Aww.
So but I told him, because he was like, the van was too big for you. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, we really don't need that size anymore. Yeah, you're right. And so he came home with this one because it was like his work car. And he's like, I like my work car. So,
okay. Well, I did ask you about the size of his work vehicle, if that wasn't maybe what you wanted to consider, since the kids were a little older now.
Yeah. And he was, I was like, well, I was going for a van, but he was like, no.
Okay.
I banged the heck out of it.
Well, I think you would have been okay. I think any newer vehicle with parking sensors would have been of an additional help. Let's leave it there. Okay. I always have this great, kind spin to things.
You do. You are very kind.
Although I have seen people with the Tesla still hit stuff even though it's beeping at them and going nuts. So any distractions can happen to anybody. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I love it. I love the color.
Yeah, the blue's pretty. It is pretty. You do have Star Wars on, and I have Star Wars on, and we didn't even plan the coordinate. Oh, wow, way cool. We didn't even plan that coordination today. You got your galaxy necklace on? Yeah, okay. I like the car humor here. Dangerous curves, unstoppable, and fast lane. They are metal, but it's a picture frame versus something you hang on the wall in the garage necessarily. Wow, isn't that unique? There's wings on the back side of it that you can stick in here. Pretty neat. Still looking for table trays for Johnny's dorm. These are really super sturdy and in good shape, and that's a fair price. But what would I do with the other 2 or 4? Or yeah, I'm thinking still not quite what I want. I really like that, but there's a huge hole in the bottom of it. Like it broke. The hole is bigger than the original hole. So for what I'd want to do, I can't bring it home. Did get the hamper for Johnny, and I've thrown in this tray table. It's only $3.49. Couple of hand towels. This one's going to Michelle's house. Doesn't it look like a spider web? The Star Wars trash can's kind of cute. I'd get it for Johnny, but it's smaller than it looks. It won't hold much. Coffee is your heartbeat, and Starbucks says, I love you. Why can it not say Johnny or John or Marianne? We have one for Dawn. Dawn has one I found in here, but I could use a few more. Oh, it's so cute. It's the right size. It can come home with me. Technically, it's like a Target brand Halloween shirt, but it doesn't have to be Halloween for me.
Nope.
Aww. I need UNCC shirts, not UNCW shirts. This is going to be the saddest it doesn't fit shirt of the day.
I have that one.
Well, that's good. That's good. Then we don't have to cry over it. It's 2:10. Wow. Michelle was going to be later than normal to pick up Ariel, but not late. We had a really good time. We tried to make up for starting a little bit late. We found some good stuff. I got 2 things for Johnny's dorm room that I messaged back and forth with him, so that's exciting. And I'm headed home now, and I don't think we have to go back out till 9 o'clock, but I'm not 100% sure. And oops. It is 88 degrees out there. That's what I wanted to say. It's hot. It's stinking hot. I'm sure Dawn would be willing to go for a walk with me, but who wants to walk on an April day and it's 88 out? So I'm leaning towards no. I hinted at Dawn that if he wanted to, you gotta love it, he could go pick me up a couple of bags of dirt at Walmart. P7. Have him bring you up 2 P7s. And he's familiar with what the dirt is. But I don't know that, right now that I would really want to go outside and plant anyway. Although maybe in the shade of the backyard it would be okay. And I would not be over there working on the asphalt area right now. That is a morning prior to the sun coming over there activity only. Just sitting out here with my Tux boy. I had Stripe out here too. I had one on each side of the bench. That was a little scary for a minute, but it kept the peace. It's not bad in the shade out here. So I am going to work on this building now and next. It's only 1,246 parts because it has no interior. So I will have to decide what's going on all 3 floors and how to handle that along the way. So it's a pretty easy build as far as just putting up the walls, but not, you know, as far as deciding what to put inside of it. It's the size of all my other buildings. It makes use of the Lego brick separator for part of the walls. I have a ton of these. Everyone that works on Legos has them either in orange or this teal color. And I just thought this would be cool to do. I guess there's not particularly much of a roof here, but I'm gonna start on it a little bit today. I don't have dirt and it's too dark out there. I mean, too hot out there to really want to do that. And we've got our video up on the big screen, and I'm just gonna piddle here for a bit. Hello. Meow. Hi, Martman. Well, you know, there was no way that Dawn was going to leave Ruby's wheels that dirty. Plus, you can't inspect the rims when all that gunk's on there. The stuff they put on the wheels when they're sliding the tires on, when they're doing the work on the machine, it can be a little hard to get off. Wow, my timing's excellent. Usually not, but I'll take it. He must have really had to work hard with the wheels with the power washer. Because I've been inside for a long time, I figured he was already opened up to do the interior. I came out to help. Us girls, we like the foam cannon. Wow, I like it. Yum, it's bubblegum smell again. Yay!
Jay Leno.
Oh, it's not bubblegum, or it is bubblegum, but it's Jay Leno's bubblegum, huh?
Jay likes bubblegum.
Okay. I dare that brand new car to look as good as my red car.
Right.
Ruby's all sparkly. Don will do the tire black tomorrow. It makes a big difference in finishing the car off. I vacuumed and helped do the door jambs. It's getting dark. It was kind of hard to see. I'm sure I missed a spot or two. Just on wiping down the door jambs. And I wiped off the WeatherTech mats. They're not perfect, but I got some of those shop footprints, whatever that powdery gray stuff was, off of I realized that my mats don't look great, but I don't need them to look worse than they already look. Hi, buddy. I know you're trying to get in trouble, aren't you? Yeah, I put Stripe up in a chair so you could rule the roost and he would be safe. Good boy. Here's Stripey. My Apple Watch died. My little tanned wrist, an untanned spot. Hi, buddy. I did see Morris a while ago. He came and ate and hung out for a bit. I don't understand why the directions leave this gap, but I'm guessing there's a reason. So I followed the instructions. I've left room for bench and planter boxes and some people. And I added this fancy corner that it didn't have, and a lamp post. I have some more 1x2 of these dark bluish gray and 2x2s coming from Amazon tomorrow. That's about the only Lego individual brick I can order in quantity that's a decent price that Amazon can deliver. So I'll be able to fill in some of these holes at least. I guess all of these holes tomorrow. I gotta go get us a turntable brick that goes there. Anyway, next up is all the windows, and then probably the door, and then topping that off. So it's fun so far. It's definitely fun. We had us a little steak and egg at the house, and enjoyed one of those stevia root beers.
Yeah.
And Dawn turned off the alarm for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I got the chicken for the cats deboned, even though I burnt my little fingers because I didn't quite wait long enough. We've got Johnny now, and we didn't film it coming past it the first time because I got sleepy. But all that light